What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Truck Central. My name is Justin from the Horsepower Obsessed YouTube channel, and I am here to talk to you today about the 2021 Colorado ZR2. This video today is brought to you by realtruck.com. Be sure to stick around to the end of this video to learn more about them and why they're awesome. But anyway, guys, let's jump right into the content here. If you can remember, not too long ago, I was on the Truck Central YouTube channel with my red 2018 Colorado Z71 that was fairly heavily modded. It was mostly appearance mods to make it look more like a ZR2, but what we did instead is actually traded that truck because of some fantastic deals going on at Chevy at the time, and we got ourselves a 2021 ZR2. So this is basically what I wanted my Colorado Z71 to be anyway, and we traded up for it for a couple different reasons, but let's get into some of the reasons why I made this jump. Now, obviously the biggest difference here between this one and my red Colorado Z71 is the color. So I went with a black color with the ZR2 because I really feel that this truck looks fantastic in black because of how blacked out the grille and all the accents already are. So adding black to the exterior color really just gives it that menacing look, the more sporty look. I know how much you guys liked it last time I was on here, how often I say sporty. These trucks are very sporty. And whenever you do little appearance mods that make them even better looking, they make them even sportier looking. Ultimately, this is the embodiment of sport when it comes to a mid-sized truck. Even Chevy must think so, because this bar on the back here, that's called a sport bar. Those lights up on the top, those are called sport lights. So apparently Chevy agrees with me that this is a very sporty looking truck. So anyway, let's dive into the details of this particular truck. Like I said, this is a 2021 ZR2, and it has the Midnight Edition package, which gives it black wheels, the sport bar, and the sport lights. This version also has the Bose sound system, the GM Performance catback exhaust, and of course the bed lighting, which allows some extra LEDs right up underneath the bed rails here to turn on with the cargo lights at night. And of course we can't forget the red Chevrolet inlays. So anyway, guys, this is kind of going to be a video talking about why I made the jump from the Z71 to the ZR2 and what my impressions are so far with only having the truck for about 2 weeks. So some of the reasons I have made the jump from the Z71 to the ZR2 are as follows. Number one, the ZR2 is just far sportier looking, especially with the 2021 front end. I know this is kind of a area of contention online. Some people love it, some people hate it. I personally absolutely love it, especially on black. I think it looks fantastic. But outside of the looks, we have a front and rear locking differential, meaning this thing can get out of some sticky situations, and of course the trails that my friend and I are going to hit up could potentially get us into a sticky situation where we would need a front and rear locking differential to pull us out. Now, aside from that, we also can come right up under the fenders here, and you can see those glorious Multimatic DSSV struts and shocks. It is fantastic the way that this thing rides. So again, comparing it to my 2018 Z71, this thing rides way better on the street. And the best part is those struts are built for off-road use. So if they ride this well on the street, they're going to be amazing off-road. No, I haven't taken it off-road yet, but yes, I do plan to. Like I said, guys, I've only had the truck for 2 weeks, so this is just my initial thoughts and impressions video to let you guys know why I did what I did and whether or not I think it was worth it. So far, I'll give you the Cliff's Notes. Yes, it has absolutely been worth it. The deal that I got on my red Z71 made it a no-brainer. So in 2018, when I bought the Z71, I paid $31,500 for it, brand new. 2.5 years later, 16,000 miles later, I traded it in on this beauty here, and the dealer gave me $30,000. So I lost $1,500 in value in 2.5 years. That was an absolute fantastic thing. My bumper-to-bumper warranty was about to be up, so it only made sense to jump into something a little sportier and a little more capable. So let's talk about the redesign of the 2021. You guys have probably seen it online by now, but this is it right here. The entire front bumper area has been redesigned with a much bigger grille, a little bow tie that's offset, and it says Chevrolet across the front now instead of having the normal gold bow tie in the middle. Down below we have standard, the red tow hooks. So if you guys can remember correctly, on my 2018 I painted these red, but now they come standard red for better visibility. Up underneath that we have a full aluminum skid plate, which is actually very thick. If we look right here, you can see it's pretty thick. Now, obviously, if you go barreling into a gigantic boulder at 50 miles an hour, that's probably not going to do a whole lot. But for the most part, these are designed to kind of prevent low speed damage on rocks and trees and that kind of thing. So a lot of the complaints with my Z71 were that a lot of the options for the ZR2 were not available for the Z71, and things like the front and rear lockers not available, skid plates were not available, the DSSV shocks not available. So I understand to an extent Chevy wants to keep the ZR2 a little bit of its own brand instead of allowing these options be available for all of the trucks. But in my opinion, the Z71 being their off-road branded truck, some of this stuff should have been available. But regardless of my opinion on it, this truck is definitely far more capable than the Z71 in many different ways. But like I've touched on so far, the shocks, the lockers, and even the ride height being 2 inches higher than the Z71 really just take this truck to another level. Obviously, I am a sporty kind of guy. I have my 3 Corvettes sitting at home. I absolutely love automobiles, and to get a sporty looking truck like this, it's just absolutely perfect. It fits right in with the fleet with all of my other cars, and it's just absolutely fantastic looking. I have a crazy amount of mods planned for this truck. I haven't had it very long, but if you guys are interested in following along with the build, definitely check out my channel, Horsepower Obsessed, and you can kind of see this thing progress in real time. Like I said, I do plan on some off-roading adventures with this truck. My friend who is local to me just bought the exact same truck, and we are going to hit up some trails and some dirty, rocky environments to really put this thing to the test, really use it for what it was built for. But like I said, guys, this was a comparison video to kind of tell you why I got this truck, tell you what's better about it than the Z71, and honestly, everything is. There is nothing about this truck that is not as good as the Z71. Everything is just as good, if not better. Now, where things really get interesting for me is actually the interior. So I know a lot of you guys out there have seen the Colorado interiors and you're not impressed. I'll be honest, it's not the most fantastic interior on the planet, but it is light years better than my Z71 was, just because it is all black. And the seats are full leather with some embroidered ZR2 emblems on the driver's side and passenger side seat. Now, the really weird thing for me was the Z71 had a kind of weird two-tone gray black dash, whereas this is all black. There's no gray in here other than a little silver trim access piece right there. Other than that, all black interior, all leather interior, much more fitting of how much this truck costs. For those of you interested in the ZR2 and its MSRP, in my case, it was pretty high. So the ZR2 comes standard with a spray-in bed liner, with the Multimatic DSSV shocks, with the front and rear lockers, with the rock sliders, and with that black interior we were just talking about. Some of the other things you see here are options, such as the black wheels, the sport bar with the sport lights, the Bose system on the inside, the GM Performance exhaust, and the bed lights. They were all additional options. Now, for the most part, the biggest expense there is the Midnight Edition, which gives you the sport bar and the black wheels. You could pick up a brand new ZR2 for just shy of $40,000. If you look at them used, I've seen them as low as 32 to 33 grand. Now, in my case, all of these extra options, the MSRP came out to just a hair over $50,000. And I know a lot of you guys out there are going to say, well, wait a second, why didn't you buy a full size for that price? And I'll be honest with you, I don't really dig the full size truck look, and they're a lot harder to drive off-road. This truck being so small and such a tight package really does it for me. Now, obviously, there is a trade-off there. I don't get as big of a bed, I don't get as much storage space inside the truck, but for my needs, this thing is absolutely perfect. If you're looking to do as much off-roading as possible, this is the truck. Of course, outside of like a Ford Raptor would be your next best bet, but for the most part, this thing's gonna get it done. Underneath the hood is the exact same 3.6 liter V6 that I had in my red Z71, the same 8-speed transmission, which, knock on wood, I have had no issues with, even in my red one, and so far in my 2-week traveling in the black ZR2, none in this either. I do know that there have been some reported issues with the 8-speed transmission, but I have had none. And on that note, let's jump in the truck and actually take it for a ride. All right, so like I said, the ZR2 suspension is just light years better than the Z71. I'm not really 100% sure what the deal is there. I do know that the Multimatic struts are super advanced and they're able to do pretty much everything based on what I've read, but it's kind of odd because they perform really well on the road, and I won't know how they do off-road until a little later, but at the end of the day, the way that these things perform on the road is just very, very impressive, because the Z71 is more of your daily truck, something that should have a softer, better suspension, and yet somehow this one rides better. So if you have to make a commute to work every day and you're taking the ZR2, this thing is fantastic for this. But anyway, guys, this is going to be your view out the front of the truck. If you look at that, you got the bulging cowl out the front, and of course the beautiful black paint, and this is pretty much it. So like I said, the interior is very similar to the Z71, only it is all black and there's more leather in here. Again, one of the reasons I made the switch was the interior, was the struts, and it was the front and rear lockers. And of course, sprinkle in there a little bit the Wave sportier look, and you got the biggest reasons that I made this switch. And lastly, guys, I want to thank the sponsor of this video, Real Truck. Real Truck offers all kinds of truck mods, from tonneau covers to side steps to performance mods, you name it. To find out what they have for your make and model, make sure you check them out down in the link below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and remember, if you want to follow along with the build of this particular truck, check me out at Horsepower Obsessed. Big thank you to Truck Central for having me on their channel again. Guys, I hope to see you again soon.